Good morning, YouTube. Hey guys, I got a request from really a couple of individuals talking about how to tournament fish. Today is the last day before my surgery happens tomorrow, so I'm going to be out for 6 weeks, and I figure, you know what, this is a great topic to cover. So I'm going to give you some hints on what I do, how to find tournaments, and you know, the thing is, you don't have to be a fisherman that fishes all the time. You can actually do this if you're a weekend fisherman. And I'll be honest with you, they're fun. They're really a blast. I was nervous the first time I did it. After that, it turned out good. I mean, the clubs are really good. They're full of really great people, nice people that will help you out. Once you get to know them, they, I mean, give you an example, the state finals, 2-day fishing tournament, and one of my YouTube friends fishing with Key TV broke his mount for his Livescope, and JJ with Texas Crappie Assassins let him borrow a mount so he can stay in the competition, compete against him. I mean, it's just what these guys do. So it's a fun thing. So if you're ever even thought about it, y'all stay tuned. I'll give you some hints on what to do and just how to do it, man, how to get out and have fun. Y'all stay tuned. Okay, to get into a fishing tournament, you just need a few things. You need a rod, you need bait, and we'll kind of cover some of that in a minute, but there are two other items you need and that I say are a must, is a good scale. I personally use the Rapala scale. It has, what it does when it's on, and I'm not gonna be able to turn it on because I don't have a battery in here, I'm sorry, but it has 1, 2, 3, 4, and then at the bottom 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then it has a total weight on there. So I don't use the 1/8 very much, but I do, and I'll tell you why. So what happens is, number one will correspond with these cool little dandy things you can get that each have a number. So all I gotta do is look in there. I know my white one is number 1. So number 1 will have a fish attached to it. So whatever this says here, the weight will be on number 1 here, okay? So I get through there, let's just say I get all the way to the end. I've got 7 of these things. Each one corresponds to 7 on here. That 8th number I usually keep in there just as a reminder of what fish, let's just say I have a fish that dies. So you gotta turn in 7 fish, and you gotta look at your local guidelines, but all 7 of these have to be alive. If they're not alive, it doesn't count, okay? So I always keep that 8th fish to be alive in case I lose one of my 7, all right? But these Rapala scales are amazing because they'll give you a total. They give you the number of each fish on here, their individual weight, and then it gives you a total weight, so you have a very good idea. This thing is usually, for me, about just a fraction of an inch off under scale, underweight based on the scale that my group uses, Texas, Crappie Anglers of Texas, excuse me. I had to think about it for a minute. So that's one of them here in Texas. I know East Tennessee has an East Tennessee Crappie Club, so they do one, but pretty much any state that has crappie in it is going to have a crappie trail that you can take a look at. So going back to this, great thing is, let's just say my fish number 1 winds up being a small fish. I'm gonna keep the first 7 fish I get to make sure I have 7 fish, okay? So number 1 is a, let's just say a 1.3, all right? And we'll go through here. Everything else is right around 1.3, but this is gonna be my smallest fish, for instance, okay? So next fish I catch, 2.2 pounds, woohoo! I'm in the money, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I will weigh it, and then there's a button here. I can't go through it all because I don't have a battery and it's not bright enough, but I can hit lock and then replace, and I can replace number 1. So that gets rid of the 133 and now puts it 27 or whatever I set it in there. Okay, and then it will total that score up. So the next time I catch a fish, I look around, I look on my scale and say, okay, number 6 is going to be the smallest fish I have. So I will pull up number 6, take the fish off. If I only have 7 fish, I'm going to put him in a live well, and just remember, I'm not going to leave him on the scale, but I'm going to remember what he is. And then I'll put my new big fish. So I just caught a 2 pound, 1 ounce, for instance. And number 6 was going to be a 1-2. Well, take him off, put the new fish on here after I've weighed him and locked in his score. So that's kind of how that works. It's a great way to keep your score, great way to keep your total weight, and these are great options. There's different ways to do it out there. For me, this seems better. These things float, so the fish are down at the bottom and they're floating, or they're down there swimming. These are floating, so all I got to do is look for number 3, number 5. Here's number 5. Pull number 5 up, drop the fish off, and go. Usually, what I'll do is I leave them. My live well is divided in 2, so I leave all these fish in my my passenger side live well, and then anything that I might want to keep is going to go in the driver's side live well. So great way to do it. Rapala scales, I want to say they're about $59. These things, I want to say you can get them. It's been a while since I bought them, but I want to say they're about 20 bucks. So for 80 bucks, you're into the spot where you can tournament fish. Next thing, baits, scouting, rods. I am a fan, obviously, of ACC rods. I love the ACC rods. Some of the baits work really good down here in Texas. I use BoneHead baits mainly down here in Texas because, well, they were developed here, and that's kind of what these fish are wanting. I've got confidence with it. Biggest thing is use the bait you have confidence with. All right. So let's just say you're on a brand new lake and it's in your area. You're gonna go try to fish it. If you can get down there a few days before, fish it. The weekend prior, or weekend before, yeah, go fish it, get an idea what's going on. But look at Google Maps, man. If you know when a drought was in your area, especially for us here in East Texas, our lakes aren't 100 feet deep. They are in places, but for the most part, you're going to be like what we have here in East Texas, Lake Palestine. You're looking 40, maybe 50 feet deep at the deepest, and 20, 15, on the sides. We don't have just sharp drop-offs very often. But if you can look at Google Maps, for instance, that will show you, find those drought years. 2011 for us was a bad one. So you go back to 2011 using Google Earth, and you take a look at the lake and kind of see, you can, especially in the shallower areas, you can see where your channels are. So again, you can use Google Maps and just really look. It depends on what time you're fishing, what time of year. If you're fishing in March, you know what, we're going to look for those shallow areas anyway. You're looking for that 10 to 12 foot of water. You don't want to be on a bank. If you're on a bank fishing, yeah, you might catch a couple big ones, but you're going to catch a bunch of small males. So you want to be in the 10 to 12 foot area, looking for those staging crappie, those big old staging girls. And you're not going to want to be out in the deep water. If you're fishing in the wintertime, you're going to be deeper water, looking for structure, stuff like that. So anyway, it just goes back to the normal fishing rules, and you can find that on any of my other videos. Just look through during the time dates, whether it's spawn, winter fishing, summer fishing, what have you, and I talk about, on everything I talk about, my depths. But really, that's the biggest thing, guys. Find you a crappie group. So Crappie Anglers of Texas, we call it CAT as well, have a website. The great thing is a lot of these are nonprofit organizations. So anytime you put an entry fee in, which I believe ours is $80 for a single. If you're fishing the D2, they have levels for D1, D2. If you're D1, that means you're a guide, or you've won a certain amount of money and you have to move up to the D1 level. So that way everyone's kind of competing against the same quality of people. The D2 is what I fish. I've not won one, but you know, it's a neat thing, man. I love them. I love the camaraderie more than anything. I was planning on doing it this year, but obviously the surgery is kicking me out because you have to, well, like for our group, if you fish 2 qualifying tournaments, then you get to go to state championship no matter what. Just, you know, provides for a whole bunch more boats and a bunch more fellowship. Ours is a 2-day tournament. Most tournaments are just 1 day. You drive in that morning, you fish it, it's over, you go home. But you get to hang out with people, especially at the weigh-in. The weigh-in, you get there at roughly, everyone's different. Ours, you get there about 2, I think, lines out at 3, and weigh-in starts at 3:30. And so while everybody's weighing in, you're just sitting out, hanging around, watching, clapping, hoping you get big fish, because you can weigh big fish in if you enter that as well. It's a good time, man. It really is a good time. I enjoy it. If I had to give some advice on what to do for how to fish differently for a tournament versus just regular out there fishing. If, like for me, I'm fishing on YouTube or I'm just fishing. I've got a 3-strike rule. So I'm going to throw at a fish 3 times. If I don't catch them by that 3rd time, I'm not wasting time changing jigs. You know, I may throw 3 of it. If I haven't caught one in a while, I may throw the 3rd time, grab another jig, throw 1 or 2 more times, but then I'm out of there. I'm going to another tree looking for more fish because you have fish that are not active at all. And it's not uncommon to come across some not active fish, especially if you're fishing a brush pile. You're going to have active fish, usually, you know, around the tops of the brush pile. The non-active fish are going to be in the middle, and as they get more active, they're going to work their way out. They're looking for anything coming by that brush pile, and they're going to eat it. So just don't throw them more than 3 times. I mean, you can sit there all day on one brush pile, catch one every 10 minutes, every 15, every 30 minutes. But man, you might as well just, especially if you have a Livescope, just start moving. We're fishing timber out here, so that's my goal is I'm going to hit as many trees as humanly possible in that time. Lunch, y'all seen, if you watch any of my old videos, I carry a can of SpaghettiOs with me and a trash bag, and I will take a 5-minute break, pop the top off, eat cold SpaghettiOs, carry a spoon. I got a bunch of spoons inside my console here, and just do that, get going, keep my ice chest full of water, and get moving, man. I just want to move. I want to be out there. A lot of the times, like I know with ours, you can be on the water at 12 midnight, 12:01, I believe it is. So if you find a spot you want, you need to get out there early. We do a trust factor. Now there is a, if you win, you are subjected to the possibility of a lie detector test, but just be honest, man. That's the biggest. No, don't put big old giant sinker weights in those fish. But you can be out there. So 7 o'clock is the start of the tournament. So if you're out there at 6 o'clock in the morning, I can get out there. I can look for my first tree, figure out, okay, I want to hit this one. I'm going to scout around. Let me go look at this one. Okay, let me go back to this one. I'm going to hit spot lock. I'm going to sit there. I may take a nap, drink some coffee, talk to my partner. If I have a partner, you don't have to fish them in partners. I did not fish with a partner for the longest time. And then I brought John Maddox out. We started fishing together, and we've had a blast. You know, just sitting out here, eating a donut, drinking coffee, kind of going over a strategy. And okay, guys, you know, John, if this doesn't work here, plan 2 is probably over there or over here, over there. What do you think? And you know, kind of work your strategy out in the morning. Tell jokes, talk about the family, and then all of a sudden, alarm goes off. Oh, it's 7 o'clock. Drop down. There's your first fish sitting right down there because you've already figured out where they are, and you get moving. So that may not be the case with everyone, so just make sure you read the rules. But if you're considering tournament fishing, I would definitely say give it a shot. It was scary for me thinking, man, I'm going to be in with all these people that are snobby and I tell you what, man, they're most everybody you get. I mean, the first time I went out there, they welcomed me. Man, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. Make sure you come back. And even though I think I came out 16th, 15th out of 32 boats the first time, man, they were all hanging out waiting for me. And watch the whole thing, because they give us tickets. Everyone's different. I know East Tennessee does it a little different thing, but sometimes you can win with the smallest fish. Sometimes anybody who didn't win gets put in a drawing. I've won several things in the drawing because I didn't even place. And so they reach in, do a thing, and I've won jigs. So stay for the whole thing. Might as well. Support everybody else. If you know you didn't make it, unless you got a 10-hour drive home, if you know you didn't make it, just stay there and enjoy. So, guys, I hope this kind of helps you out if you've even thinking about doing a crappie tournament. If not, thanks for watching. But if you do have questions, feel free to answer them down there. Again, understand this is probably the last video going out where I'm after my surgery, so I'm probably still going to have a hard time typing, and I'm going to be trying to catch up to all the other videos and all the comments. But definitely leave me a comment. I've got some moderators on the channel that can answer stuff as well, and eventually we'll get to your comment. But thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. Y'all have a great day. We'll see you on the next episode, which should be without my neck collar. I'm hoping. I may even go fishing with my neck collar on one day if I can get out to it. Anyway, that's another story. Y'all take care. We'll catch you on the next episode.